So he's just good at like capturing different things. Like, it might seem crazy to just, but that'd be the picture that the YouTube captures, for the frame. Um, Louisville Mayors. So we're talking about the fucking Confederates who owned fucking Louisville. The Democratic Confederates fucking controlled Louisville in 1905. So we're back in 1905. Actually, this is when Camillus Gripshover, my granddaddy, who fought in World War II, who died in 84. That's when he was born. So my Gripshover grandfather was born in northern Kentucky, right, in Boone County. So my granddaddy is a German, born in northern Kentucky, the time when the Confederates are fucking taking over Louisville. They actually take over all of Kentucky. Confederates didn't win Kentucky during the war. The Confederacy won Kentucky after the war. They loved Lincoln when he died, but they hated Lincoln's guns and martial law, and then it was a slave state, so you had lots of fucking racists all around. Ku Klux Klan went around just killing anybody, not just black folks, but white radicals who, radicals, people who fundamentally believe there should be a change in government. They went after the white radicals who actually thought black folks were people. So Willis Russell out of Boone County, he's having to fight the Klan basically single-handedly himself. After the Civil War, black folks are free, so you can't enslave them no more, so the Klan's solution was just to run everybody out. Mississippi plan just shows that violence actually works. And so there was intimidation. That's what these fucking racist Confederates understand. So it's, racism isn't just bad by itself. And there's lots of racialist people. People say white, black, this, and all that. So they're not like racist haters. But a fucking Klan member, a Ku Klux Klan member, a fucking Henry Watterson, you know what I mean? Like, these fucking animals, they're fucking devils. And MLK, it makes me think of MLK, so I think the picture, the big picture is what we're talking about. MLK says the three major problems with America is racism, militarism, and consumerism. That's the three-headed beast that we got to destroy. So racism, militarism, consumerism. Racism, white supremacists. All this fucking hatred, somebody's skin color pisses them off, they think they're fucking better than everybody. This crazy, arbitrary, ignorant, stupid fucking hatred exists. And if you're, their kid or a neighbor of one of these fucking white supremacists and you're not down with hating black folks like them, then you're a white radical and they hate you. So that bowl of hatred, which starts on such flimsy fucking foundations to begin with, if you're not down with that stupid fucking hatred, then they're going to be hating on you. That's fucking Confederates. That's a white supremacist. So they're clearly psychopaths, right? They can fucking just hate people for no apparent fucking reason, just their skin color. And then they get into Kentucky politics, and they get into substantial Kentucky politics, and they wave the bloody flag. We was one of the poor Confederates, the lost cause. The South is going to rise again. That's what you have Democrat John Whalen. So John Whalen is a fucking political boss in 1905. And John Whalen is going to help Paul C. Barth, who eventually kills himself. Paul C. Barth is going to be elected to become mayor of Louisville because of the boss, the Confederate boss, John Whalen. Now, he was a courier for John Hunt Morgan. He was a powder monkey in the Confederate Army. So he's just a boy when he fought for the Confederates, but that actually might be worse since he's completely brainwashed. Big ass, he died in Louisville, Kentucky, and he was a theater manager. He resided on 4420 River Park Drive, so we actually have his address, and he was a Catholic. So there's a lot of, actually, with John Whalen, there's a lot of weird, differences that's going on here. They hated the Catholics in the beginning, but I guess, like, I don't know, maybe he just showed, I hate black folks too, so ignore my Catholicism. So you have a Confederate Catholic mayor, or no, Confederate Catholic boss, okay? His nickname is the Buckingham Boss and Napoleon. So I'm not sure why he's the Buckingham Boss. Napoleon is obvious because he's a tyrannical, psychopath. So he's, I'm the tyrant around here. He's a theater owner, moved into Louisville in the 1870s, become the manager of a vaudeville theater. So he's into acting and all this shit. He opened the Buckingham Theater in 1880, a burlesque on Jefferson and 3rd and 4th Street. So he's got the theater, but he's also got this burlesque, which is, it's a literary, dramatic, or musical work intended to cause laughter by character in the manner or spirit of serious works. Oh, okay. It's a parody, right? So I thought a burlesque show was something else. So okay, so good. I learned something. Burlesque. You know, he's making fun of other shows. Not a real show, but sort of a Saturday Night Live. You know, vaudeville, right? Sort of a sketch comic. So, although he tried a few legitimate theater ventures, his wealth came more from prurient interest. And he never had a respectable reputation in Louisville. So, everybody knows that John fucking Whalen's a fucking prick. And fuck John Whalen. The point of learning history, yeah, to make sure you don't repeat the shit. Yeah, to understand who we are and how we got here. But it's also so that the anger remains. Fuck tyrants. Fuck hypocrisy. Fuck lying. Fuck superstition. And, you know, fuck the bullshit. Fuck the bullshit. No lying, don't be lying, don't be fucking hypocrite, don't be superstitious, don't be, you know, don't be fucking shoving this bullshit in my fucking face. It's bullshit, is what I'm saying. The anger remains. So when you learn about the War of 1812, and you learn that that's when Tecumseh got shot, don't tell me that the British and the Americans were fighting over themselves or whatever. Nah, this shit was the Spanish-American War, the exact same bullshit. Two fucking colonial powers fighting for Amerindian land. So that's what the War of 1812 was about. Tecumseh got fucking shot. Tecumseh Shawnee. Tecumseh born in Kentucky. Shawnee, homeland Kentucky. Puck Shinwa, he gets shot down in Port Pleasant. Fucking Shawnees were defending this land and this country like it was theirs, because it was theirs, and that's the reason why we had the War of 1812. Carry on till 1905, and now we have John fucking Whalen, okay? So let's carry on with John Whalen. He's a theater owner. He's a shit. Nobody likes the guy. He knows he's an asshole, but he's a boss, so he would rather be feared than loved anyways. He's fucking Napoleon, right? The Buckingham boss. So Buckingham boss, Napoleon. He owned several theaters in other cities, 2 in Brooklyn, and he had a lavish show, The South Before the War, and it was one of the most successful shows of its era. So the South before the war. Before the war, the South was so fucking great, right? And then that's his show. One of his most successful ones was about the idyllic nature, right? The darkies were gay, right? The Uncle Toms were happy. So good night, Uncle Tom. My old Kentucky home, Stephen Foster, going to sing the song about how great the slaves had it, right? As if, you know, would he have been a slave? Would Stephen Foster have been? Anyways. So he's a political boss. It became necessary for Whalen, John fucking Whalen, the Confederate fucking Catholic, John Henry Whalen. So old John Henry, old John Henry Whalen, fucking Whalen, okay? So he established political ties to protect his business interests from the family and religious groups that periodically protested burlesque and his ties to prostitution and gambling. So that's what burlesque, okay, so he's got this burlesque show, which is a satire, but there's also gambling and prostitution. So great fucking dude, right? Fucking burlesque fucking owner. And like I said, you know, nobody likes this fucking dude. So burlesque owner, prostitution, and gambling. So, you know, you got these Confederates who's into prostitution, into fucking gambling, and into making these burlesque shows. The Buckingham boss. And it's going to say in 1885, John, why do I keep on remember forget his fucking middle name, John Henry Whalen. In 1885, John Henry Whalen engineered the election of Mayor P. Booker Reed and was rewarded with the position Chief of Police. Oh, that's fucking perfect. Fucking perfect, right? Just like David Armstrong and whoever the police chief was then. I mean, it's all politics. Fucking it's corruption all over the fucking place. These motherfuckers ain't establishing waterworks, public education, healthcare, health insurance. They ain't giving us this shit because they don't give a shit about us, okay? It has nothing to do with the people. It has to do with what the fuck they're on. Get the power, do whatever the fuck you want to do when you get the power. So John Whalen's a political boss, a political Confederate Catholic boss in Louisville, fucking running the show here. He fucking runs Louisville, right? The Confederate Democratic Party run fucking Louisville in 1905. So John Whalen, he engineers the election of Mayor P. Booker Reed. So that's one motherfucker, P. Booker Reed, and I don't know shit about him. So P. Booker Reed is elected because of John Whalen. So one, and then John Whalen becomes the chief of police. Get somebody elected, you get a fucking badass job. Chief of police, right? He's a Confederate. He knows about murdering and killing, and now we got a Confederate fucking chief of police. We'll see a Confederate chief of police in 1999. So 1905, 1999, Some changes, but very little. They got Confederate sympathies. They fucking hide their white supremacy. They get in there and they act like a fucking white racist. Is what they do. Okay? So, from that point on, when he became the chief of police, that's when he was known as the Buckingham Boss. Okay? So, and that comes from the theater where he had his office. So he had his office in, I guess, the Buckingham Theater. I don't know if there's a Buckingham Theater. But they say that named it after the theater. And he influenced every Louisville and statewide Kentucky election for the rest of his life. Every Louisville and statewide election. Okay, so he's the man. He's the fucking man. December 1913 is when he dies. So we'll see him with our guy, Paul C. Barth, which I'd actually want to see about P. Booker Reed to see if he actually, I mean, if you're a fucking Confederate gets you into office and then you put that Confederate as chief of police, do you have any power? What the fuck do you actually accomplish for the people? You know, you've already set yourself as counter to everything that is good and decent in this world. And so I'd like to see what is up with P. Booker Reed, another mayor of Louisville. But we're talking about Paul C. Barth right now. Okay? And Paul C. Barth goes into office. He's in there for 2 years. And then he's removed from office because the election was fraudulent. Okay? And then you'll have another guy 20 years later, Arthur A. Will, who's removed because the election is fraudulent. But you didn't have a fraudulent election debacle with P. Booker Reed. So John Whalen in the beginning was able to get these motherfuckers elected without anybody saying shit about it. So in addition to controlling Louisville and Kentucky politics, he also, John Henry Whalen, he also bribed officials and controlling assistant programs. At his peak, Whalen controlled the awarding of 1,200 city patronage jobs. So he's into the spoil system, 1,200 jobs. Be nice to fucking Whalen. Who gives a fuck if you like him or not? He wants you to fear him. And if you get his respect, then he can get you a fucking job. 1,200 jobs. So the spoil system, patronage, nepotism, get the motherfucker elected, help out your buddies, fuck the people, right? Who gives a shit about the masses? Just use the office to line your own fucking pockets. That's what these rich, aristocratic, Confederate fucking, I mean, it's all rich men anyway. Starting from the beginning, it was rich men in the mayor's position, rich white men, and now we see, you know, what happens when we have the influence of corruption and Confederates and white supremacy. For many years, John Henry Whalen virtually ran Louisville from his green room at the Buckingham Theater. So he had a green room, right? Wow, this motherfucker's, every little thing is being detailed. So he had a green room, the Buckingham Boss, the Buckingham Bass has a green room at Buckingham. Pulitzer Prize winning journalist Arthur Kroc recalled Whalen's dominance of Louisville politics in his memoirs describing John Henry Whalen's green room as the political sewer through which the political filth of Louisville runs. Okay? So, he's the fucking, I don't know even if they have a sewage system in Louisville at this time. We haven't seen any, I haven't come across any mayor. We got water, we got public education. I haven't seen a mayor actually establish it yet. Doesn't mean that it's not true. So, Whalen, John Henry Whalen successfully executed an especially wild scheme in 1892 when he was convinced his choice for city chancellor would lose in a fair primary. So, he picked his guy, but it's like, oh, his guy's going to lose if the primary was fair. So, he's probably going to do some corrupt shit, right? So, as primaries were exempt from most election laws, he was able to convince the party that a house-to-house canvass would be superior to any other form of primary election. This had both the effect of disenfranchising thousands of voters who couldn't be at home at the specified times. So they're having an election, we're going to go to your house and get them to vote that way. Which is actually fucking amazing. It would be awesome if someone knocked on your door and say, hey, would you like to vote? But they are right. It'd be like the mailman when the fucking election man comes by. Are you at home? Will you be able to vote? Election day should be a national holiday. We should get election day off if we're actually a democratic country who loves our democracy, which we don't. I don't see any democracy actually anywhere. Not in our political establishment, not in our schools, not in our workplaces. Nowhere, right? So, the democracy of John Henry Whalen is fucking bullshit, right? John Henry Whalen, he's canvassing everybody. He was able to disenfranchise lots of people who weren't home at the time, and then ensuring that bulk votes were cast the way they were supposed to. I paid you fucking $50, so you need to fucking vote for my ass, right? You could also have your men going up to the doors, and it's knocking on your doors. Talk about fucking intimidation, right? And so that's John Henry fucking Whalen. He's changing the fucking game, and we're going to find out a little bit more about him coming up. He's going to fucking do some corrupt shit. He's already got people canvassing to your doors, right? And bribing motherfuckers.